Don't rush doing anything. I mean, it's always good to take your time and do it thoroughly. Don't, I mean, it's fine to express your feelings. I mean, it's kind of, we want you to share your feelings, so don't really go to the Ever Forward Club if you're not going to share your feelings, I feel like.
My name is Ashanti, and welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast, where men get real. Men of all ages and backgrounds come to this space to talk about these masks we wear. Today is Face to Face with Wenceslao, and his guest today is Lucian. Now, Lucian is a seventh grader, and Lucian has been a part of the Ever Forward journey for about 3 years now, almost 4. 2021, which if you can think about back to February 2021, what you were doing, this is when the Black Boys Circle started for Ever Forward. A group of parents came together, had reached out and said, well, what can we do? Do you have anything you can do for our boys who are in this Zoom world? They're struggling. They don't have a lot of supports. The school doesn't know what to do. They don't want to be on this computer all day long. And I said, well, yeah, we can try something. We didn't have an out of school program that was a part of our model, but it made 100% sense. I had tested it here and there over the time. And what I realized was that it's a lot of work, right? It's like, because it happens on the weekend, it happens, scheduling and all these things. So I had done it before, but with limited success. And this was a season where it was like, it was a need. And I was like, well, let's do it. Let's do it. And that group of parents brought sons together, and Lucian was one of those young men. He was in the 4th grade. And man, what a beautiful journey it's been since 2021. Now, our first meeting was online. So imagine we're trying to find a space for these young men that is like getting them out of the Zoom space, but also trying to give them a sense of brotherhood, because these are all young Black boys. And what ended up happening was we met on Zoom. And so some of the boys were like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do this. And so I told the parents, I said, well, the only other option is we meet in person. Now, I was okay with meeting in person. I didn't know if the parents would be. So we decided to meet, and we met in front of Oakland Technical High School. If you've ever seen Oakland Technical High School, it looks like, it may be like the White House. I don't even know. It's a movie that was in the movie. What was that movie with The Principal with Jim Belushi? It's that movie, that school. Big white pillars out front, big white, like it's just like a big white front school. Anyway, and there's the big grassy areas in front. And so we met outside. Socially distanced, mask wearing, and go looking back at some of those photos from those early meetings. It's like, what is this? I can't really see what this kid looks like, because we're all the photos we have our masks on. So it's great to now see them as young adults and growing up. And you're like, man, he started with us. He was so small. But this is what you'll get to see in some of these photos of Lucian. And in this conversation with Wenceslao, you'll hear a journey. Now, for those of you that have been a part of this podcast and you've been listening to Wenceslao since he first started with us in the 7th grade, which is where Lucian is in the grade of now. Let me say that sentence again. You may have first met Wenceslao back when he was in 7th, 8th grade, because we met Wenceslao at the end of his 7th grade year. And right now, Lucian is at the end of his 7th grade year. So we kind of met them both around the same time, but they're coming together in this conversation. And Wenceslao, as you know, has tremendously grown in his ability to build connection and ask questions. And he's finishing up his season of his hosting of the podcast for the face-to-face. And I think what you can experience is that difference in age, right? That even though Wenceslao remembers what it's like to be that age, you can see him trying to like navigate and support this 7th grader to answer some deep questions, to get real, to talk about the mask. And what we know, and you may know about Wenceslao, is that when we first met him, Wenceslao didn't talk about his story at all. Like, I didn't find out till 2 weeks or a month ago some of the situation with Wenceslao and his relationship with his dad, because he kept it behind that mask. He would drop little hints. He would say a little phrases that made me knew that he was thinking about it, but he never went into the detail. And it wasn't until 2 episodes, I think with Andres, where I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So as you hear this conversation with these two young men talking about their masks, just notice that there's a age difference there first, about maybe 3 years. But there's not only just a 3-year age difference, there's a growth in maturity age difference. There's a growth in words that I can talk about and how I feel about the words that I'm going to say, and worrying about the judgment of others when I say these words, and knowing that sometimes, even when you create the right environment, that sometimes it's hard for the growth to be fully seen. Any gardeners out there, summertime, I was at Home Depot the other day. Some family had like 18 things of soil. I'm like, what are you building? What are you growing? Like, I was like, how are you? I hope this is gonna be an amazing yard, right? All this compost and manure, and they were like rolling these big old carts out of Home Depot, and I was like, man, Home Depot's not a sponsor, by the way, so I'm just saying their name because that's where I was at. But what I wanted to know is that, man, look at this. And if you've ever planted any food before, you put the seed in the ground, and your job is to do what? Wait. Wait. And maybe you've planted lots of seeds and you're like, what the heck? Well, sometimes they say, well, hey, in this little hole, you got to plant like 3 seeds, maybe 3 seeds in this hole, and you cover it up, and then you water it, and then you wait. You can't go back in there looking around and seeing are the seeds growing, because you're going to mess it up. You have to let it happen. And for any person who's ever planted anything, you know that weeds will show up sometime before the fruit. And how do you carefully make sure, oh, wait, is that a weed or is that the plant? Is that the weed that I'm seeing growing up out of there? Or am I seeing the plant? Did I just pluck out the fruit that I've been waiting for? Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes while the weeds are coming up around the area where you planted the fruit, the vegetables, whatever it may be, the crop, the harvest, you have to sometimes wait a little bit longer to make sure that you're not pulling out something, because it doesn't always look like the fruit that it will look like at the end in the beginning. It's just a little green thing kind of popping out of the ground. Now, why am I using this gardening metaphor? First of all, I love plants. I'm a plant. I'm a plant person. I love gardening, and I've pulled out the wrong stuff sometimes. And I've also, as a mentor in this work, to bring the metaphor back to this conversation with Wenceslao and Lucian, to watch Wenceslao where he is now, after being with us since the end of his 7th grade, and watching where Lucian is now at that same grade. It's exciting to know that there's a lot of growth still happening. That even though he was with us since he was in the 4th grade, there's a lot of other kind of development that has to happen in those early years until you get to the place where you can say, I have a voice, I have a thought, I have thoughts. My thoughts are different than the adult's thoughts. And maybe now I have to find a way to talk about my thoughts in a healthy way. I have to find a way to tell the adults my thoughts so that they can hear them, and then we can do something about them. But if I haven't yet found the words, then maybe I'm going to keep it to myself. Maybe I'm going to keep it quiet. And I think one of the words that he used on the back of his mask was numb. I mean, what a powerful word. Sometimes even challenging to spell. How do you spell numb? But when you think about the word itself, it's like, what am I feeling right now? And you try and explain to somebody, yeah, I'm not really feeling anything. What do you mean you're not feeling anything? There's a lot of stuff happening in the world. There's a lot of stuff happening in your life. There's a lot of stuff happening around our community. What do you mean you're not feeling anything? But what if you got to the place where every time you were trying to talk about how you felt, people didn't get it? People didn't understand. People misheard you. And therefore you just say, okay, it's just better just to just better not to talk about it. Maybe I actually really feel it, but I just don't think I know how to talk about it. So I go to a place of just like keeping it right inside and behind that mask. And so I put on this smile, I put on my uniform, I put on my hat, I put on my gear, and I go out into the world operating every day numb. This past Sunday, I got an opportunity to be on the radio with Mr. Fab. And if you know Mr. Fab, he's a Bay Area rapper. He's been having these sessions called Thug Therapy in Oakland. They've been beautiful sessions. They've been growing lots of men coming together to really talk about how we feel, to work on healing the parts of ourselves that we probably ignored for so long, wounds that were happening when we were kids that we had to tuck away and we put under a bandage, or we put it under a armor, we put under our hoodie, we put under the outer shell of what we put on, we put it behind the mask, and it never got a chance to heal. And so he talked about the healers coming to a place to be healed. And I'm so excited about the work that we're going to do this summer. I'm excited about Lucian. He's going to be a part of our Social Emotional Leadership Academy and the places where he can participate. He's going to be doing some of his own youth rites of passage this summer. And so why am I just giving you a whole lot of background on this? Because I think in this conversation, there's a lot of things happening. And as you listen to it, listen a little deeper than the words on the outside. Just notice these two young men coming together. Notice Wenceslao, who knows what it was like to be asked hard questions when he was in the 7th grade, because that's when he joined our program, and him really taking good care of Lucian. And notice Lucian just trying to do his best to find out, how can I answer these questions? From what I know of both of them, and what I definitely think you'll experience in this conversation, I knew there was so much more to Wenceslao than he was letting me see, and that he was even letting the podcast see. And I also experienced that same thing today when I hear Lucian in this conversation. I think I'm experiencing, there's so much more to him, and knowing that he is going to do his best to be present and give his best in this show. So maybe I sense that he could give more, but ultimately in these conversations, it's men of all ages and backgrounds sharing what they're willing to share. And I'm really excited that you get to hear what he's willing to share with you today. And I think that in the next couple of years, as you see Lucian transform and develop and grow, he's going to find his words. He's going to find answers. He's going to find a way to talk about how he feels. The numb is going to go away, because he's going to be to a place where he's like, oh yeah, I maybe not really want to feel this, but I know I need to let myself feel this so that I can deal with it. And that's beautiful. So thank you for being a part of the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Thank you for being a part of this journey of 20 years of Ever Forward. We are getting close to our 200th episode. We haven't even planned a party yet. So I don't know what's going to happen on episode 200, but this episode 196, we're 4 away. And this summer sometime, no, not this summer, in the next month. Oh my goodness. It's even closer than I expected. So it's coming soon. So lots of celebrations over this early summer. Just when our 20th anniversary celebration, the 5K challenge was last week. And now we're moving into the 200th episode coming in of this podcast. And we thank you for being a part of it with us. Please tell somebody about it. If you learned anything, if you've gotten any value from these conversations with men around the world, men of all ages and men of all backgrounds, please don't keep it to yourself. Please share it with someone and let us know how we're doing so we can make it better. We look forward to this journey ahead. And if you have not yet made your mask, what are you waiting for? You can make your mask anonymously free right now online at millionmask.org. 1 picture and 6 words of self-reflection. And we hope that even before you do that, you realize that there's so much more to you than anybody can see by looking at you. Thanks, folks. Be well, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy today's episode Face to Face with Wenceslao and Lucian. Bye now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here of Taking Off the Mask. I'm your host, Wenceslao Soto. And then today I'm here with...
Hello, I am Lucian. I'm in 7th grade, and I go to Park Day. And how long I've been in this group? I've been in this group for 4 years.
Thank you for being here, Lucian.
Yes, no problem.
So, Lucian, the first activity that we're going to do some activities here in the podcast. The first activity we're going to do is a mask. So, for the people who don't know, the mask activity is where we write 3 qualities, 3 characteristics that people might know you as the front of the mask. And then for the back of the mask is writing 3 qualities that you don't let people see, 3 things that you hide from others. So, Lucian, we're going to take a few moments and create our own mask.
Okay.
You want to take a few more minutes, or are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So how do you want to do it? You want me to share first, like front and back, or you want to both share the front and then the front and the back?
Yeah, it's just fine. Yeah, we can do that. We can do the second. Yeah. We can do the second option. Wheelchair. Yeah.
All right. So do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
I'll start.
All right.
All right. So for the front, I have polite, happy, and joyful. And then for the back, I have numb, I have anxiety, and I have sad.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
For my front mask, I put empathetic, peaceful, and established. I put empathetic because I'm love being nice to other people and try to be peaceful as well and try to avoid a lot of bad stuff and like violent stuff. And then established because I want to prove myself and then proving to other people that I can do things. And then for the back of the mask, I put avoidance because I try to avoid a lot of stuff. I put overthinker because I think too much and probably causes me a lot of stress and anxiety. I put letting others know, or speaking up for myself. I think I should speak up for myself whenever I need time for myself or let somebody know something.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That was great.
The solution, what we're gonna do now is the card game.
All right.
And the card game is where this card game called The Adventure, which is a card game created by us, and you save people by gaining points, and you get points by answering questions. But Lucian, we're just gonna be answering the question. So I got the cards face down in front of me, so I'm just gonna pick a random one, and we'll take turns answering the question. So the first card is: how are you different when you are alone or with others?
So, am I different when I'm alone or with others? I am definitely different when I'm alone because I'm really quiet when I'm alone. I don't really say anything. I don't really make any noises. So, yeah, I'm just different when I'm alone.
I think for me, I'm different when I'm alone because I try to show people others that I'm always a happy, glad guy, and then when I'm alone, I'm always trying to deal with problems I got, and then try to not let other people know what I'm maybe stuff I'm going through.
Nice, yeah.
So for the next question is, what is the most important thing in making a relationship work?
Probably able to talk to somebody or to able to trust in somebody. If you want to have a friend, you can't really not trust them and not talk to them because I think one of the biggest things to having a friend is talking to them. So
I think for me is being able to understand each other and connect, make connections. Because I think a relationship isn't all really perfect, and what makes it perfect is facing the problems with each other, and then try to know the value between the relationship, knowing that it's worth taking risk, and also trying to make it work.
yeah.
We'll do one more question, and then I got a poem to read about talking, which I'll explain, and then we'll move on to questions.
All right.
So this card is: describe a time when you changed your mind about something that you once strongly believed.
For me, it probably was actually, I don't know. It's a good question. Let's see.
Would you like me to go? So while you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Probably would be about being able to overcome any afraid stuff or things you're afraid of, or
Yeah.
for me I believe it was something like a phobia, and it was gonna be hard to overcome, but and it's better for you to avoid it than to take a risk, or not take a risk, but it's better for you to avoid it than trying to face it.
I mean, now I probably think trying something new, honestly, like I thought it can be like really hard, and it can, but once you actually try that thing, it can definitely get easier, and yes, just, yeah.
So now, so I'm gonna read this poem called "The Prophet," which is this prophet Khalil Gibran, who gets asked by people to talk about love, marriage, housing, children, and what I do is I read a poem, like whatever topic we're talking about, and then I read the poem to the guest, and then we both reflect on the poem and like something we take about it and how it connects to us. This poem is about talking. It says, "You talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. When you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips, and a sound is a diversion and a pastime. And in much of your talking, thinking is half murder. For thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wing, but cannot fly. There are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being alone. The silence of aloneness reveals to their eye their naked selves, and they would escape. There are those who talk, and without knowledge or forethought reveal truth they themselves do not understand. There are those who have the truth within them, but tell not it and not in words. When you meet a friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear, for his soul will keep the truth of your heart as a taste of the wine is remembered, when the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more." For me, I like the part where it says, "For thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wing, but cannot fly." Something I take away that is like a thought is like something, or like when you don't speak or speak up, like the thought is like represented as a bird in a cage. Like you have it in there, but you're just not willing to like let it fly, like let it out.
Yeah, that was like the same exact thing for me. And that I think that connects to me because it can be hard to talk to somebody, and like just a random stranger, it can be hard to talk in general, and you can start to open up, but you can't really connect them in a like a nice way, in like a full connection.
So now I got questions for you.
But
So you've been I first met you in the South by Southwest, right, in Texas. You were a really calm, talkative guy. So for the people, can you introduce yourselves and like how you first became like involved with the club?
wait, so just introduce myself, you said?
Yeah,
Alright, again, or just the same?
yeah, just like like something like repeat like what you said in the intro, and then just explain how you got involved with the club.
So, hello, my name is Lucian. I'm in 7th grade and I go to Park Day. And how I got into this Ever Forward Club is that my mom really wanted me to have a group of boys that I could connect to, and so she reached out to Ashanti, and now I have this really amazing group of boys here.
How has your experience like been as a member of the club for the past few years?
It has been very therapeutic. I think it can definitely help you if you're having any emotions or something. But it's also just fun to have a bunch of friends.
How has being part of the Everford Club like influenced your personal growth and like development?
It's definitely I've definitely became way more like calm and way more open to people, and not really like get angry as fast, or really just like being able to calm myself in like a hard situation, or like when I'm getting angry.
Yeah. Is there like a specific moment or experience, like being part of the club that like impacted you?
Probably going to South by Southwest. I mean, that was an amazing experience, and just teaching a bunch of people about that was incredibly fun.
Is there like something you would take away? We talked to people when they came to our booth, or like we also did the live podcast. Is there like something that you took away between those two things, or like something you noticed that like impacted you?
Being at high school can be fun, but it can be very challenging at times.
Is there like been now like moving a bit more for like that personal life? Has there been like any challenges like you've been facing or like having trouble with like managing your time and responsibility, like personal and the Everforward Club?
I mean, yeah, honestly, probably like getting homework in on time, honestly. It used to be like, but now I feel like I'm doing better on that. But yeah, definitely that used to happen a lot.
Yeah. Or how's like being part of the Everforward Club contributed to your like sense of community and connection with others?
I mean, it's basically taught me to like just talk to people way more and like actually let them have an open space to talk if they need, and like it's, yeah, like that.
Is there like any skills or lessons that you learned from the club?
Skills is definitely talking to strangers and like about the mask and like sharing deeper feelings with the strangers and like helping them express their deeper feelings too.
Aside from the Everforward Club, is there like any passions or interested in your lives?
I've been doing basketball. Yeah, I mean, basketball, kind of grinding that a lot.
Do you think that you have to like meet like an expectation or be a complete different person when you are playing basketball compared when you're in the Everforward Club?
I mean, I'm just being myself when I'm playing basketball, honestly. Like, yeah.
Yeah, good. How do you find like a balance between pursuing your interests outside of the club and also committing into the club?
Ashanti Branch, he has like these check-ins that he does with us, and that can help. We haven't been doing that lately, but we do it still, and that's helped a lot.
Do you think that those check-ins like really help you a lot more after
Yeah,
you do a
definitely.
check-in, or do you feel that
Yeah,
like it helps me, maybe I could do it to other people as well?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And like why do you think it helps you a lot more, or why do you think it would help like other people to do check-in?
It's kind of like relief, not gonna lie. If you're having like a hard week, these check-ins can really help, and it can kind of relieve you of like stress and stuff.
How do you envision the Everforward Club contributing to your personal and professional growth more in the future?
I can see it like helping me getting like a good job, helping me have better social skills.
So like giving advice to new members, like what advice would you give to someone who is new to the Everforward Club or considering joining?
Don't rush doing anything. I mean, it's always good to take your time and do it thoroughly. Don't, I mean, it's fine to express your feelings. I mean, it's kind of, we want you to share your feelings, so don't really go to the Ever Forward Club if you're not going to share your feelings, I feel like.
If you don't feel comfortable sharing your feelings, it's fine when you
Yeah.
first join. It might take you some time, but just knowing,
Oh, yeah. Don't rush.
just trying to feel more, just don't feel rushed. Can you share any valuable lessons or insights you gained from your time in the Everforward Club that you can carry with your personal life?
Probably like I said a couple years ago, when I first joined, is never judge a book by its cover. I know it's like a very big used thing, but it's always good to know where they are, what their background is like, and what somebody is like going through in that time, or yeah.
So, what grade are you again? 8th?
I'm in 7th.
7th, and you said you started when?
In this group in 2nd grade.
You started in 2nd grade with the Year Before Club.
Yeah.
That's really young.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's better to like be part of these spaces younger?
I think that because every year you get like a lot of emotions, and if you don't talk to someone about that, it can become like a big, huge wave of emotions, and it kind of gets all stored in your body. And then when something bad happens, or when it's kind of reached its full like capacity, you can like explode and have this huge fit, and that can like cost you a bunch of things and friendships.
I started in 8th grade. That's still
Ah,
pretty. Yeah,
wait. I think it's 2nd, but it might have been 4th. I don't remember at all.
it's good that you start joining sooner. So it's like since you're a bit younger, it's you feel more comfortable once you're like in high school or even before that, just talking to other people and feeling less shy and already coming like fresh, knowing about the figurative mask and all these work. That's cool. Second
Yeah.
grade. That's just it for my questions. Do you have any questions for me or?
No, you're good.
So, for the audience, thank you for tuning in today. It was a semi short podcast today. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Lucian, for being here today.
Thank you
And I hope
for
you
having
guys
me. Yeah.
hope see you guys next time. Thank you.
The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie and graphics by Kelly Wong. Guests are managed by Dan Paloma, and the podcast is edited by Samuel Matingo. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast, and for every guest that has been a part of the show, you are now a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. The Taking Off the Mask podcast is brought to you by the Ever Forward Club, and if you like what you've heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share this with someone. We look forward to having more conversations that matter. And please remember, there is more to you than anybody can see by just looking at you.